Hello chess fans, this is Chess to Impress with another impressive position from the game. This is a story about the 2016 US Women's Championships. It was won by Nazi Paikidze, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. And this is the story of the last round where she had to beat Grandmaster Irina Krush, who had been a champion many times before, with the black pieces, to win the championship. It was more complicated than that because Tatev Abrahamyan was half a point ahead of Nazi before the last round. As Nazi said before the game, my hopes were on the playoffs, for which I had to absolutely beat GM Irina Krush, Grandmaster Irina Krush. My strategy was to get into a complicated position from the opening and prepare for a long fight. Yeah, she was half a point behind, she had to win, and then hope that Tatev Abrahamyan would not win. It was the 25th of April 2016, the last round of the US Women's Championships. Nazi was born in Irkutsk in Siberia, moved to Tbilisi in Georgia, then lived in Moscow, and the last few years she has been residing in Baltimore in the United States. Let's look at the game. The game lasts 64 moves, and I will not comment on all of them. And actually I chose this game for this video because the game is excellently analyzed by Nazi herself in the magazine New in Chess. And not only with variations, but she talks a lot about her emotions before, during and after the game, and it's great to see that the top player has the same emotions as club players do. Let's look at the game. After g3, Nazi says, I was disappointed at this point, thinking we would get a quiet positional game. Of course, Nazi was looking for fireworks because she had to win. She was looking for chaos on the board. Let's move through the opening moves and let's go to the 17th move, which was f2, f4 from Irina Krush. Nazi says, I was happy to see this move. Instead of boring positional play, Irina chose a more aggressive continuation. I knew this was my chance to create chaos on the board. And she starts the chaos with the move b6, b5. Let's move to the 21st move, knight f6, d5. She says, I was quite happy when I saw this move. It's not only beautiful, but also very strong. The knight is heading for e3 to make the white pieces extremely uncomfortable. A very strong move indeed. Of course, the knight cannot be taken because the pawn is pinned. And then a few moves later, the 23rd move, which was g6, g5. And Nazi says, my move of the tournament. I saw Irina's reaction to it. She looked surprised, confused, and a little worried. I felt confident. She had made a g5 move in an earlier game. So this was her lucky game, her lucky move in this tournament. F takes g5 and knight takes e5, and Nazi says, I loved looking at my great knights and strong bishop. They look indeed very, very powerful. And here Irina Krush makes a mistake, rook f2, and now Nazi took time to calculate, and she had seen the winning move knight d3, and she says, I must admit that deliberately leaving a piece hanging with check was not an easy thing to do, especially true in the most important game of your life. So she didn't see all the variations and decided on knight e3, the safest continuation. And then after knight b3, Nazi says, right at this moment I saw Tatev Abrahamyan resign to her opponent. I realized that I only needed a draw to make it to the playoffs for the title. But if I won, I would immediately be champion. I've never felt so many emotions at the same time. Shock, excitement, happiness, nervousness, and impatience. I knew I had to calm down and hold it together in order not to let this opportunity slip away. Knight takes g2 and rook takes g2, and here Nazi says, I felt worried about my king, and she was worried about a g5, g6 push and then queen to h4 with counterplay against the black king. Let's move on. Let's move to the 31st move. Queen f5, and Nazi says, here I felt confident again. My king is much safer and my knight is much better than white's bishop. And at the 34th move, bishop a5 to c7, Irina Krush made a mistake. Because with rook e3, Nazi wins the queen by force. And let me show you how she won the queen. And after 39, bishop takes g3, it's clear that black has won a queen for rook and bishop. 40th move, queen h5 check, time control is made. Nazi said she had some tea and a snack, and back to the board for the final effort. Now comes a period where Nazi plays a lot of moves, picks up the b4 pawn, and she says about this stage of the game, I made some unnecessary moves, but she was the one who needed to be careful. I had full control of the position and I was not in a hurry to win. My only job was to not blunder any pieces as the position was completely winning. So I'll quickly play through these to the 63rd move and another g5 move, which was indeed her move of the tournament. And she says, g5 again, my final tactic. And after bishop takes g5, Nazi played rook g4 check. It's important that she doesn't take that bishop straight away, because then there's king h2 and the queen is pinned and the game will be a draw and she would have to play a playoff. But of course she played rook g4 check first, and here Irina Krush resigned. She resigned and congratulated me. Words cannot describe the relief and happiness I felt in that very moment. I consider becoming the 2016 US Women's Champion the biggest accomplishment so far in my career. Wonderful. And why did Irina Krush resign? Well, after king f2, then it's very important that again black doesn't greedily take on g5, because then it will be rook g4, queen takes g4 and rook g3, and again because of the pin the game is even, it's a draw. But of course Nazi would have played queen takes c2 check, and the king cannot go to e3 because of rook e4 checkmate. And after king f1, queen takes g2, king e1, queen takes f3. Black has won both rooks. That's why Irina Krush resigned, and Nazi Paikidze was the 2016 US Women's Champion. Also in the magazine New in Chess there was this cartoon and two men playing chess. And on TV it says, what has this country come to when a Nazi wins the American championship? And the man says, oh my gosh, it's the Donald again. A funny cartoon. Hope you liked this. And if you did, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and that you will subscribe to my channel. This is Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.